Welcome to another SkaredCast Battle Report. Today, the third installment of our campaign, where the Space Marines and Imperial Guard forces are facing off against the Dark Eldar. In this mission 3, we have a scramble mission, where the Dark Eldar are trying to gain air superiority, but the Imperial forces have been warned by the kill team, who set off a beacon and allowed the forces to be prepared for the impending Dark Eldar attack. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast Battle Report. It's going to be a good one. We have 1,850 points of pure Dark Eldar facing off against 1,850 points of Space Marines using the Ultramarines tactics and some Imperial Guardsmen. So, this is the third mission in our campaign, and the Dark Eldar are trying to take out the enemy flyers before they can scramble and get into the air. So the way this mission works, we have 2 landing pads with 2 flyers, and they're free flyers for the defender, and normally you'd have to roll a 6 to get them activated, but because the beacon was activated and they have been warned of the impending attack, we've decided that on a 4+ at the beginning of each defending turn, they will activate and then be able to move normally. Now, victory conditions are just kill points. Kill points it is. The biggest difference being I can recycle any flies that I have, and they can just come back onto the board if they get destroyed, and I get D3 victory points for each flyer that I destroy, and the defender gets D3 plus 1 victory points for each flyer that is on the launch pads that remains alive until the end of the game without getting destroyed. So, this is the mission. Land Raider, a couple of Dreadnoughts, 3 tactical units, 2 10-man in Rhinos, 1 5-man with a las cannon. We have 10 Guardsmen, veterans with 3 Flamers in that bunker there. And then in reserve we have a Librarian with Divination with 8 Stern Guard and a drop pod, and 10 Assault Marines with 2 Flamers and a Captain with a Thunderhammer Storm Shield. The Dark Eldar, this special mission allows me to deploy my flyers on the board, and I have a Void Raven Bomber, 2 units of 10 Cavalite Warriors with a Blaster, Splinter Cannon, Splinter Axe, and a Saberite with Haywire Grenades, a unit of Witches, 5, with a Hecatrix with nothing, Haywire Grenades, an Archon kitted out with a Shadow Field, Power Sword, Soul Trap, Haywire Grenades, and 4 Incubi with a Clavex, 2 Talos unit, 4 Scourge with 4 Haywire Blasters, unit of Scourge with 4 Haywire Blasters, another unit of Witches with a Hecatrix with a Haywire Grenade and an Agonizer, 6 Reaver Jet Bikes with 2 Heat Lancers, a Ravager with 3 Lancers, a Razorwing stock standard. And that is the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty as the attacker takes the first turn. The Dark Eldar advance in full force, with most of the shooting going into the 2 Dreadnought unit, knocking both Dreadnoughts out of commission and scoring the Dark Eldar first blood. We had all the vehicles except for that Raider back there turbo boost into better positions, and the Reaver jet bikes come down the flank with a Razorwing jet fighter killing 2 out of that unit and forcing them off the battlements, but they are now ready to rally. There's a drop pod coming down, and we shall see what the Stern Guard decide to do this turn. And will the flyers activate? The Space Marine turn began with the drop pod landing, screaming out the Stern Guard, who blasted ignore cover rounds into the Reaver jet bikes, blowing them all to oblivion. A tactical doctrine was activated, and a lot of shooting put 1 hull point and 2 hull points and stunned this Razorwing and 1 hull point and stunned that Venom in the back. And then I lost 3 of the Scourge to bolter fire. Now we're moving on to Dark Eldar, turn 2. They have another turn to try and stop the Flyers from scrambling, as the Flyers failed to get off the ground this turn. The Dark Eldar encircling the Imperial forces. The Archon and his Incubi retinue getting out of their Venom and assaulting this unit of Marines with his Soul Trap, challenging the Sergeant and getting +1 wound in the challenge. But they are stuck in combat. Shooting saw this little Storm Talon die for some extra points, and this Razorwing here eliminated the 3 Marines that were left in the corner, while some lucky Venom shooting killed 3 of the Stern Guard. We're moving on to Space Marine and Imperials, turn 2. Space Marine and Imperial, turn 2. The Vendetta was scrambled, and it boosted up to join the fight, forcing this Ravager to jink and taking a hull point off it. The Assault Marines and Captain landed in the backfield to disrupt the enemy, ready to provide some support. Meanwhile, 2 of the Venoms went down. This one fell to a quad gun firing, and that one fell to the Stern Guard, with the Librarian as the Rhinos created a wall to save them from the Incubi that murdered the last of those tactical Marines. In other shooting, the Scourge finally died as well to stray fire, and this Raider was forced into jinking. And we're moving on to Dark Eldar, turn 3. The Dark Kin have dealt a fatal blow to the Imperial forces, starting with a Void Raven bomber flying over some Imperial guardsmen and blowing them all to smithereens because they were hiding right there. So a bomb made short work of them. And then just going for kill points, killing 2 Rhinos, the Razorback, and the Stern Guard unit with combined shooting and close combat. Also putting a hull point on the Vendetta with the Ravager. Let's see what the Space Marines can do to salvage this situation. We'll be back. Captain put 2 hull points on this Raider, jumped in, but it's still alive. It just can't shoot, can only snap shoot. The Assault Marines assaulted and destroyed the Ravager. The Vendetta went into hover mode and immobilized this Raider. This tactical Marines annihilated the witches that were surrounding the tank, while the Librarian went Super Saiyan and killed one of the witches. He's got rerollable saves too through divination precognition, so he's going to sit there and take some hits. And the Land Raider annihilated the 2 of the Incubi that were left, while the Archon is now sitting by himself. So we're moving on to Dark Eldar, turn 4. Both of the Dark Eldar flyers are coming back onto the board. This is a bloodbath. The Razorwing arrived and still has to shoot at that unit. The Void Raven bomber arrived, blew up the Vendetta sky high, shooting from the Talos over there and a Venom in the corner, put a dent into the Assault Marines, while both gunboats of Kabalite warriors opened up into this tactical unit as well, and the Archon that's hiding back there put a hull point on that drop pod with a haywire grenade. We're moving on to turn 4 for the Space Marines. Saw the Captain blow up the Raider with a crack grenade and charge the occupants inside and murder all of them. Also saw the witches that fled from the Librarian in combat cut down by heavy bolter fire. Meanwhile, incidental shooting did not do anything to the Talos, and the Assault Marines are moving and running to try and get themselves into the fight. We're moving on to turn 5. Could be the end of the game. Shooting from the unit inside this gunboat stripped a wound off of the Captain, who is menacingly coming to get them. The Void Raven bomber blasted the Land Raider into oblivion, exploding it with these Void Lances, while the Talos moved up, killed 2 with shooting, but they fell back out of charge range, and the Archon went to hunt the Librarian, cutting him down, sucking another wound in for his Soul Trap. Now he's up to Strength 5 with his power weapon. And we're moving on to Space Marine turn 5. Could be the end of this epic showdown. The Captain did an 11-inch charge over everything to charge this Cablite Warrior unit that got blasted out of their Raider by the automated quad gun. In other news, the Assault Marines failed a charge against the Archon. And we rolled. It is going on to turn 6. Dark Eldar. Begin the mop-up. Except for him, because he's been murdering everything he touches. Good old Space Marine characters. Their heroes are forged in battle. The Captain killed the Cablite Warriors, consolidated towards the Talos. The Razorwing that came back onto the board killed the 2 Marines that were left, while the Void Raven Bomber missed the drop pod, and the Archon failed a charge against the Sergeant Assault Marine that's fleeing combat after the Talos killed 2 of his buddies. And we're moving on to Space Marine turn 6. Captain charged into the Talos, taking 6 wounds, but his Storm Shield saved all of them, and he put 1 wound onto a Talos, concussing the Talos with his Thunderhammer. Meanwhile, the Assault Marine tried to kill that Venom to no avail. And now, and then the automated quad gun forced the Void Raven Bomber into jinking, and the Void Raven made 3 out of 3 jinks. So, does the game continue on a 4+? It is over. The battle is done. The blood has been spilt, and we will return with a total tally of the game. And the tally is in. It is a 15-12 victory for the Dark Eldar. Yes, it was close. But right at the end of the game, thank you for killing the 2 flyers that started on the board and them not surviving. That was the turning point. Other than that, it was an absolute bloodbath, and it was really, really fun. Joaquin, my brother, any comments on the game, sir?
It was very grim at the beginning when the overwhelming number of the Dark Eldar just kept on blowing things up to very ineffective return fire, but luckily the martial prowess of the Captain, eager to prove himself, I think he netted 5 kill points all by himself from turn 3 onwards, so he definitely he's my MVP for this game. I believe so.
Yeah, he was an absolute tank. My MVP for this game was the Void Raven Bomber, who was just destroying everything left, right, and center. He just killed the Land Raider, and then just shot it, and then killed all the veteran guardsmen with a bomb that was well placed, and it was awesome. Well, thanks a lot for watching, guys. This is Skari, your grateful host from the SkaredCast channel. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel, comment, share the videos, etc., etc., etc. You know, all that shameless plug stuff. We're on a quest to hit 8,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So make sure you let your friends know and enjoy the rest of the campaign as it is reaching its climactic end now that the Dark Eldar have gained air superiority to the Imperial forces on the planet. This is Skari, your grateful host, out. Hello and welcome to another Fluff Corner. So, today I had a game against my brother. 3rd installment of the Fall of the Creator line. And this little mini
running campaign is something that my brother and I have put together so that when we are spending time with each other, we have a sort of theme to go by. So these games are designed to, be fun, to create a narrative, and of course to be nail-biting till the very end. For this game, we used one of the missions in the Skies of Death supplement from Games Workshop called Scramble, and the whole aim was for me to try and eliminate the planes before they got into the air. Of course, we added our own twist to it, to add to the narration of the campaign, and we will have this game affecting further missions in the campaign as well. It seems like the Dark Eldar are getting a foothold in this planet, and the Space Marines and Imperials will have to really put up a fight in order to stem the tide of the Dark Kin. So this is a question that I pose to everyone who watches the channel. What do you enjoy the most about thematic games like this? Not necessarily as balanced or as equal as a mirror match, line up 12 inches from the board and roll dice, but something that's just as enjoyable, tactically challenging, and can really start creating stories for the rest of your hobby experience, getting you to paint new models, getting you to try out different things. So I'm curious as to what your thoughts would be. As for the campaign itself, the next mission will be determined, and I'm glad you were able to watch through this battle report that at the beginning seemed like it was going to be a complete Dark Eldar victory, but the Space Marines were clawing their way back towards the end, taking out many of the kill points, and it was an absolute bloodbath. I only had my Archon, both Flyers and a Venom left alive at the end of the game, and the Talos, where my brother only had his Captain and one of his Assault Marines and a quad gun left alive. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate your comments, your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. And I'll get to your comments as soon as I can. This is Skari, out.